Hey guys, Joe here from Avalon Accounting, and today we're mixing things up a little bit. Going to show you a little bit of the variety of scenes rather than just my home office, and also kind of take you through my business philosophy and what's helped me sort of build a business that is one, profitable, which is absolutely necessary for running a business. Two, doesn't kill me. I don't have to work 80 hours a week just to make that happen. And three, gives me a lot of purpose in my life and helps me just enjoy life by helping others. So how did I build in purpose into that business as well? We're gonna be moving around a little bit and I'm gonna give you some feedback on all of those three things and why I think they're so important to building a great business and how you can do that too. So stay tuned for that. And as always, all that and nothing else coming up. All right, hey guys, welcome to this part, which is the money part. I think that's the most important component because all the other things can fall from there, being in a profitable business. And here I am. This is my downtown office. I'm here in Victoria, BC. This is a co-working space called Quench Culture Club, and I keep an office here. And you see behind me this background has been done by a designer who's in the co-working space, and then a local woodworking and metalworking company who did the shelves and the CNC work, which is really cool. But yeah, the money component. So really important to be running a profitable business. I don't think that's a big surprise for anybody, but what I'd like to take away from this is that it doesn't happen by accident. And the way I have structured how I think of profitability for my business is I had an income target. I had an amount of money that I wanted to make every year from my business. And then I started working backwards from there to see how big the business needed to be, how I needed to price things, just to get a general sense of what it's going to take to get from here to there to get to that income target. And I think it was a really useful exercise for me because you see the kind of company that you want to build, and it becomes very personal too that you have an income target that will support your lifestyle. So absolutely, I think it's really worthwhile to do that. If you're interested in how I calculated that, let me know in the comments below. Maybe do a shareable Google Sheet on how to work backwards in your business to get to the revenue levels that you want so that you can get to the income levels that you want. So really important. There's a couple ways that people tend to go wrong in this area into their profitability. First up is that charity starts at home. So you want to make sure that you're really solid in your business before starting to give away profit percentages, things like that. I think it's a common thing. People start their business and they want to be really helpful in the community, which is fantastic. But I think, charity does start at home. Number one, you want to be able to take care of yourself, have the income you need to pay your rent and be secure, pay your mortgage, do all of those things that you need to do. So make sure you're not giving away too much before you're into that scenario. Number two is take care of your employees. You want to make sure that you're paying them market salaries, that you're going to be around long term so they can be employed there and not have to stress about that. So that's absolutely important. Charity starts at home. Once you're profitable enough, I think that's the time to start thinking about the community at large and how you can give back from a place of strength rather than trying to give away too much before you've really achieved that success. The pitfall number two that I see when people are trying to build in their profitability and be in a profitable company is that they forget that they need to take a salary. So to my first point about what sort of income do you want, a lot of people will, run their business and then just kind of take whatever's left over. And without having a plan in place to make sure that they're going to be profitable or that they're going to get some, not only profit, but their own salary, their market salary of what they can make somewhere else, then what are you running this business for? Why are you taking on all this risk and doing all this work when it's not really paying off for you or there's no plan for it to pay off for you? So make sure that when you're talking about profit, you're talking about it in the right terms, that you're taking a market salary first, and then whatever's left over after all the expenses are paid is what the true profit is. You're not just taking whatever's left over at the end of the month or the end of the year. The third component to this, I think, is that it may not happen right away. So don't get discouraged if you're not profitable in your first couple of years of business, but that if you have that plan in place and you know what size you need to grow to, I don't want anybody rushing into profitability by cutting their legs off at the knees when they're starting their business. You want to kind of work into that profitability over time and make sure that that plan is coming into effect. So that's kind of the critical parts to the money piece. I think once you're there, once you're making a profit, you'll understand that it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's really important, absolutely. But by itself, all other things that go on within the business, just being profitable is not enough. And so that's why in the next part, I'm going to show you around another area here, and I'm going to talk about time. So what's your time? Are you, if you're profitable and you're working 80 hours a week, is that a good thing? So we'll talk about that next. All right, so now welcome to the studio space here in the co-working space. So this, you can see behind me, is a beautiful space that we use for exercising, and you can rent out and things. So I've actually run some lunch and learns here as well. Super great space. But the second thing I wanted to chat about to you about building a great business is your time. So we talked about money and how you want to be profitable, and absolutely you want to be as profitable as you can be. But if that's at the expense of you working an 80-hour week or even a 60-hour week, is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, my personal philosophy is that I want to work between 20 and 30 hours a week. I've got other things I like to do. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to do all that. But also, I am just really enjoying the work that I do if I'm doing that amount of work every week. So there might be weeks where I do extra, so there'd be more work that I would do at certain times, but definitely want to limit the amount of work I do so I'm refreshed and I come with creativity and I'm ready to go and really enjoying that time. And when there's periods of extra stuff that I need to do, that I'm doing it from a place of lots of energy. So how does that happen? Well, the number one thing I can say to you is that you have to, again, have purpose around it. So making sure that you're purposeful about having a schedule and what you're going to be doing. And then every time you're doing something, you're trying to figure out, how is this the last time I get to do that? So another way to put this is, if you can build out the things that you're really good at and the things you really enjoy doing, and you know what those things are, every time you're doing something that's not that, think about how you're going to delegate that to somebody else, or automate it, or eliminate it. Maybe it's something that doesn't even need to be done in the first place. So one of the things I've been working on over the last 6+ years is productivity. So making sure that I'm coming to work and working on all the things that are going to help me be more productive, run a better business, but also impact my business in the biggest way I possibly can, rather than doing a bunch of things that I'm just not that good at and somebody else can do way better. So a really important thing to think about when you are building your business and when you're doing tasks and you're working that 60-hour week. I know I went through that period. It was fine. I mean, it was needed at the time in the business, but I couldn't have done it forever. I would have faced burnout. So making sure that I had a plan in place to hire good people, to delegate the things that I'm not that good at and they'll do better, and then making that happen. So org structure, I think, is really important, knowing what your organization's supposed to look like, what are the roles within it, but also affecting that and hiring people as you go that are most needed throughout. So that's it. Number two, time. Make sure that you're not overworking yourself. There's going to be periods where you have to work a lot. Make sure that's not the norm, and have a plan to work a little bit less. You can always add in more time if you're feeling really excited about the work that you're doing, but generally I try to keep it much lower than 40 to 60 to 80 hours a week. And time is a really big, important part of running a really successful business. All right, so the last component that I wanted to talk about is purpose. And this one's really meaningful to me because it's the one that gets me up in the morning. Money is great, time is great, but those two things combined can just lead to hedonism. If you got all the money and all the time, like, what are you doing here? And I think that could probably get, I haven't been warned about through various wise people that you do need something else in your life other than all the time and money you desire. And that is purpose. So for me, I became an accountant because I wanted to help small businesses. I had tried to start my own business in my 20s, and I could never seem to get it off the ground. So I thought, well, what's the next best thing? I mean, I can be helpful to small business owners. So I set out to become an accountant and be helpful. What I saw in the accounting world wasn't exactly what I would say is always being super helpful. A lot of it was very, internal driven, or how many billable hours, all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to create a company, or at least a service that would really truly help small business owners. So that's what kept me going. And once that got going and I had that purpose in place, it kind of grew on itself. So now I have employees, and I really want to make sure that they have a great place to work, because I had worked at places that weren't great, didn't treat people great, or said they would and said they did. But, when it came down to it, it was really unclear what they wanted, didn't have a lot of clarity, and there wasn't like open communication and things. So I wanted to create a company that did those two things. And that really drives me now, is to do those two things in combo and really have a good purpose around the business. So time is great. Money, is great to have. You need to be profitable. But if you want to get up in the morning and, be at your best every single day in your business, think of the purpose behind it, who you're helping, and be of service to other people. That's the big thing that I think will drive you long term and help you create a really great business and a really great life. I think in terms of, thinking about your own personal life as well, if you have a lot of purpose in it and the business is a big part of that, you're going to be a happier person and you're going to be more successful. And that's a big component of, I think, really true success. So those are the three. Money, of course, you want to be profitable. Time, you want to have enough time on your hands to do things that you love to do other than your business, and you'll come back to your business with more energy. And number three, purpose, the thing that gets you up in the morning and helps you run that business on those rainy days and when all looks bleak, will keep you going because you have that drive and that purpose behind it. I think an article from the old CEO of Xero, who helps us with these videos as well. So his name is Rod Drury, and he said the first two rules of business. Rule number one, don't do it for the money. So that's the purpose side. But rule number two is do it for the money. And I would add number three, do it for the time. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is a little bit of a varied video, something different from what I've done before. Really enjoy putting these together, and hopefully you found this useful. If you did, please drop us a like as per usual. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. This is all about Canadian entrepreneurs, tax and accounting advice for the most part, but I'll be throwing in some of these videos as well. But I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.